Yes, that's my case as well. Like when I met Foster, I had a good English already.
Ooh,
Ui, essa
can
doeu. Doeu em mim até. I, vai.
I spoke English well?
Yes. But once I got to know him and we started our relationship, of course, my English is much better right now. And your experience with Portuguese now from Portugal. So you already know Portuguese from Brazil, and now you're learning Portuguese from Portugal, which is different. People don't think it is, but it is. The expressions, the way that you say things, and everything is different. So that's more or less what we try to tell our students, like, yes, you can be as confident as you want to be once you start communicating, of course, but you had to learn to communicate well. And that's more or less what it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think like the lesson that we all teachers are trying to teach is learning any skill, whether it be language, meditation, learning how to surf, it's always going to be a lifelong process. There's not one day when you say, I speak English perfectly. That's never going to happen. Carina, you said something very interesting about being more independent. I'm curious to know, do you feel like you have different personalities in English and compared to your Brazilian personality?
Ah,
I do.
it's the first time I hear this question.
I do.
You do?
Yes, I do. I feel that sometimes when I am in Brazil or here in Portugal and I'm speaking Portuguese, of course, eu me solto muito mais, sabe? Eu falo muito mais coisa que eu deveria falar e eu realmente consigo fazer piada e etc. Nos Estados Unidos, quando eu tô com a família do Foster ou coisa parecida, eu fico às vezes pensando duas vezes, será que essa expressão vai dar certo? Será que eles vão me entender ou não? Por mais que eu já tenha um inglês bom, ao ponto de eles me compreenderem perfeitamente. Então, eu acho que às vezes a minha personalidade não é que ela seja fake, sabe? Não é que ela seja falsa, ela só é um pouquinho menos do que ela é normalmente. Eu tenho essa, sei lá, essa impressão.
What a beautiful carioca accent.
Obrigada.
Alexia's sexy
lindo.
carioca accent.
Ah, essa eu acho.
Eu acho também.
Que bom.
Good for you. I agree. I think that it's not just about the language, but it's about my cultural background. Because when I'm talking to an American, if I make a joke about Chaves, for example, they will never get the joke. So when I'm in Brazil, já chegou o disco voador. Everyone knows that, you know? So I think maybe, eu acho que eu sou mais engraçada às vezes em português mesmo, porque
Exato.
a gente tem uns negócios mais não é só linguístico, sabe? É cultural mesmo. Então,
É piada
do
interna.
Chaves, a coisa. É, piada interna, a coisa do meu gaúcho também. Aqui em São Paulo eu tive que mudar minha fala. Porque você fala, nossa, tô podre porque eu subi essa lomba.
Lomba?
Que é lomba? Eu não sei o que
É
é
uma
isso.
ladeira. É uma ladeira. Não posso nem
ladeira.
falar lomba aqui em São Paulo, porque eu me sinto super. Mas daí eu me sinto super fake falando, subi uma ladeira. Eu me sinto assim, tipo, nossa, muito esquisita, sabe? So, yes, I think, in this sense, I think I have two different personalities. But I've never lived abroad. So maybe if I did, maybe I would feel more and more confident. The thing is, I use my English for work usually. So I don't use English all the time. I don't need to talk about how I feel deep inside about using English because it's not necessary. Everyone I communicate with here in Brazil speaks Portuguese. So maybe, well, Alexa, you've been living abroad for longer, and well, you live with Foster, so I imagine you talk about everything. So how do you feel when you have to say some to express something that's really, really personal, really deep? In which language do you prefer to communicate? Portuguese, I suppose.
Yes, I mean, I think that with Foster, it's a huge mix nowadays because he speaks Portuguese perfectly and I speak English perfectly for us. So when
Putting perfectly in quotations, at least for my Portuguese.
no, for both of us, but exactly, like we sometimes he's speaking in Portuguese something really, really important, and I am answering in English, but it's because it's our relationship, right? But I had to change also the way that I speak here in Portugal. O português brasileiro, como eles chamam, né? Sometimes it doesn't make sense for them.
Alexia's Portuguese is already changing.
Yes.
Like, vai se perceber?
Então, por exemplo, entender não é entender, é perceber. Ah, percebeste isso?
Eu
Percebeu?
estou a fazer
Estou aí.
É uma loucura para mim. Tipo, amor, pelo amor de Deus, fala normal.
Por exemplo, estou indo no supermercado.
Speak Portuguese!
Estou indo no supermercado, não é? Estou a ir ao supermercado. Não existe, sabe, o indo.
Tu tá falando estou a ir no supermercado?
Eu falo já.
Gente.
Então
Alexia, fala português direito. Ai, tô brincando, gente, nossos amigos de Portugal. Isso é uma brincadeira, tá?
Não, eu não estou
Não, mas é
brincando,
interessantíssimo.
Não. É muito difícil. Eu demorei, 4 anos para aprender português. E daí eu preciso aprender de novo. Gente,
então,
sacanagem.
But I think that I always had a huge facility of adapting myself. I've never been a person that, okay, I don't want to do that because I am Brazilian or because I am Portuguese or because I am American, you know, like...
You are quite a cultural chameleon.
Sim, e se eu for pra Minas, eu depois de 2 semanas eu tô falando que nem mineiro, que minha família é mineira. Então, assim, eu realmente consigo me adaptar muito bem, mas não é todo mundo. E eu entendo isso perfeitamente.
Okay.
Não é todo mundo.
Can I come in with my role as the native speaker here
Yes.
really quick? Alexia said I have a lot of facility with this. That totally works in English, grammatically correct. It's just a phrase I would never say. I would just say I'm good at adapting,
Yes.
or it's something that I'm good at. Yeah.
Eu falei em inglês ou em português? Na minha cabeça estava em português, eu tenho facilidade, that's why.
No, I do that in
That's
English
why,
as well.
because we're mixing languages.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what about you, Foster? How do you feel when you speak Portuguese? Do you think you have different personalities?
Yes. I like to consider myself a little bit funny in English. I can make jokes. Sometimes people laugh. In Brazilian Portuguese,
You can.
I can make jokes. People laugh. Sometimes they land. Sometimes they don't. But I feel more comfortable kind of being myself and letting my personality shine a little bit more. Here in Portugal, speaking European Portuguese, I'm trying to make a lot of jokes and 0% of them are working. So...
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The Portuguese humor is a world that I have yet to penetrate.
Yes, but you try to be funny with British people as well when they don't like it, so it's more or less like this.
The humor is... it's a curious thing. In every culture, it's a little bit different. And my humor is very strange to begin with, so... But your question is if I feel different speaking in Portuguese? Absolutely. I think like Brazilian speaking Foster is not a different person, but a totally different like personality than American speaking Foster.
But again, it's not a fake personality. It's important to let people know that you don't have to fake yourself.
No.
Like to speak another language.
No, I believe it was Charlemagne who said, when you learn a new language, you gain another soul.
Oh my God.
Which is true. I have 2.5 souls, maybe. Okay, we're interviewing Carina.
I'm the one interviewing you now because
How did
I'm
this
curious
happen?
to know about your experience, your language background.